Hey, I'm Amy.
I'm Tim.
From Evanescence, and you're watching Noise11.
You're on Noise11. My name's Tim Cashmere, and we're here with Amy and Tim from Evanescence, who are back in Australia once again. Welcome back.
Thank you.
You had your first show of the tour last night, your second one tonight. Is it good to be back? It's been so long. It's so many years since Australian fans have seen you.
It's really good to be back. We've got a lot of happy memories hanging out in Australia. More than anything, you know, it's about the fans and the shows, and we're stoked to be at that part of it. You know, we did the first week and it was like a lot of promo and stuff, and that's cool. I'm glad to be here, glad to be on your show, but you know, at the end of the day, it's like,
we can read between the lines.
I want to play a show now, like back to the music.
Now we get to rock.
Yeah. So now's the fun part, and definitely enjoying it very much.
And you did have a 5-year gap, which I suppose is going to be the thing that everyone's going to ask you about. 5 years between albums. When was the point when you said, okay, it's time to get the band back together?
It's hard to say. It's not like there was this one particular moment. I don't know. I need to feel free to get creative. It's funny, I don't know, I can't explain it, but if I feel like I have to do something, like everybody's expecting something out of me, I want to do the exact opposite. So it can be hard for me to work sometimes when it's like, okay, it's time to do another record, hurry up and get into the... Anyway, whatever. We got off tour at the end of 2007, and I really badly needed a break from that identity. Like, it had just been like my whole life, you know, since way before we met the first time. So I don't know, I just kind of didn't have a plan. I didn't know if we would get back together and make a record, and after a couple of years, I was writing, I don't know, Tim was living in New York, and we were writing some music at first that was sort of folky and cool, and we've got a couple of songs from that time, and then I started writing more kind of an electronic vein, and I don't know, it came back around to just missing the aggression and the power of the band. And
I suppose that's one of the benefits of having a 5-year gap between albums, is that you will naturally change.
Sure. I mean, you need to just... The point is you need to take time to be inspired, you know, and if it takes 5 minutes, awesome. If it takes 5 years, you have to be honest with yourself. And I think for me, like, I've done a lot of things I'm really proud of. We've made a lot of cool music that I really love and put a lot of work and time into, and I can't just crap something out I don't care about. It's got to live up to that. It's got to be better than that. Everything I do, I feel like has to be the best thing I've ever done, or I'm not satisfied. So, you know, that takes
By the time you get to your 15th album, you're going to
rule.
Have a lot of... You were talking about before about, you know, it's hard to work when there's pressure and people are expecting something from you. I imagine at the around the time of the last record, you would have had that. Was that the case? Was it difficult to kind of fight off people in suits saying, give us another record?
There's always fights. Every minute of every day there's some kind of fight going on. It's about passion. Like, if you really love what you do, you can fight through that pressure, fight through those bad ideas, and make something that you really believe in. But it's not easy in any way. It's not an easy thing to make a record that you really, you know, that's really yours, you know, without everybody's fingerprints all over it and messing it up and taking it in other directions. There's a lot of pressure and coming from a lot of different directions. As far as the pressure of time, I think the time that I felt that the most would have been after Fallen. Like, Fallen blew up bigger than we could have hoped for, and when we finished touring, I'd been through so much in that time around and experienced so much. I was bursting at the seams to write music. Like, it was all I wanted. So it was easy to go right back in and start writing again, and Terry and I had a great click that happened with us for writing, and we wrote The Open Door, and it didn't feel like I was doing it for anyone. If anything, it felt more like I was doing it for myself than ever. I felt like we'd earned that through our success with the first record to really take liberties and do whatever we wanted.
And there's only one song on the self-titled record that only has your name on the writing credits, and that's Lost in Paradise, isn't it?
Yes. That's interesting. I thought that the whole album we just wrote, all songs written by Evanescence. I don't know. Maybe the record looks different over here.
I hope I haven't just...
No, it's nothing wrong. I I have to look at it again. It's interesting. The different territories and the different labels like kind of do it differently.
Sure, yeah.
So I'm not exactly sure. But I did write that song.
You did write that song all by yourself. Like, was that kind of the point where, you know, you really finally had a chance to do something that was yours with no one else's fingerprints on it? There's
always that moment. You know, I've had, you know, a couple of moments like that on Open Door and everywhere else. So, yeah.
Is it, do you feel different when you go out on stage and you sing something that is entirely yours than something? I mean, I'm aware that the other people
I'm trying to think if I do. And you know what? Since I write the lyrics, like, I feel extremely emotionally close to all the songs. When we get to the part where I'm at the piano, I play Lost in Paradise, and then next is My Heart Is Broken. And we wrote My Heart Is Broken as a group, and I absolutely feel just as close to it as Lost in Paradise, actually.
Is it weird when you sing a song like My Heart Is Broken? Like, you're married, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And you get up there, congratulations. You get up there and you sing My Heart Is Broken and all of these things. You know, does your husband sort of sit there and go, well, what did I do? You know? Screw you.
Yeah, no, he gets it. Everybody needs an outlet. Life's not perfect. I mean, married or not, it's complicated to be in a relationship. Definitely not singing about having no one, you know, but I've had my heart broken plenty of times. I think if we're being honest, we all have.
Yeah. And you started working on this record with Steve Lillywhite, or you started doing some work with him. He didn't end up producing the record, but now, if I was to imagine producers that you might be sort of brainstorming about, that's probably one of the last names I would have expected to turn up. How did it end up that you started working with him? Well, and what went wrong?
He came to us, and he was super nice, and we got along really well. He was a really, really sweet, funny guy. But I think that for the first time, you know, when I got in there, that click wasn't happening. There was some sort of a break in what was going on. Like, everybody wasn't totally on the same page. I think he's a super guy, but it wasn't working for what we were trying to do, and it actually led me to start feeling incomplete about the work that we had, and we ended up writing a whole bunch more songs, and listening to the work that we had and the songs that we had at the time when I was making the record kind of the first time through, and what we have now. I'm actually really glad everything happened like it did. We wrote some of my favorite songs after that. So, I don't know, it could have come out and we could have made this record next. I mean, some of the songs on this record are from that time.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, it sort of just set me on fire and made me get really a different type of inspired, and made us all really rely on each other.
And you must be, at this point in your career, getting pretty good at knowing exactly what it is that you want. You know, as a band, you know, you can probably walk into the studio now and say more compression on whatever and all of that.
We all play a pretty big part in what it sounds like. I'm real picky about the mix. Ideas are awesome. Like, we're always throwing out ideas of different instruments and different ways to do things, and they're spending forever on the tones, you know, and I'm spending forever picking organ sounds, and then I can't hear the organ, so the mix is wrong, you know.
Yeah. Well, based on what I've been seeing as far as live footage goes, and when I saw you many years ago, you get the mix pretty well live. I'm certainly looking forward to seeing you playing tonight.
Thanks very much.
Thank you so much for chatting to us.
Good to see you again.
Thanks, Tim.